happening, sweepies? Hold on. What's up? What's happening? My name is Leslie Williams, and I'm in San Diego, California. This is what is called a comedy video, because comedy videos are being made and designed in order to be able to make you laugh, and to make me laugh later as a result of watching them. And they're being tailored for me to act as goofy and as silly as possible. That way I can make you laugh later. What's up? What's happening? What's new in the hood? See, I act as goofy as possible. That way, I look as goofy as possible and sound as goofy as possible. That way, when you watch them, you can laugh your butt off. Now, you might think to yourself, why is this woman acting so goofy? I mean, is this what she's really like? I don't think so. Watching my birds. I'm acting as goofy as possible to make you laugh. End of story. Hang on. Now, you might think to yourself, why is this woman acting so goofy? Why isn't she, you might think to yourself, this woman's in an elated mood. I think not. I'm acting goofy and silly on purpose. In other words, it is my exact intent and complete, total 100% intent to act as goofy as possible. It's what I do. That's why I'm doing it. Now, I'm taking a break concerning my administrative duties in order to be able to relax and make this video. And while I'm making it, hang on. While I'm making it, I might as well show you some tidbits of information concerning the reason why I do what I do. And you might think to yourself, why do I do what I do? Oh, actually, I just discovered, in my mind, of course, a subject matter for my fellow targets so they can deconstruct the factual realities of what's happening to them. And you might think to yourself, what fellow targets? What is she talking about? Well, first of all, the types of criminalities that I'm about ready to describe are not funny whatsoever. And, but if my fellow targets are watching this, make no mistake about it, watch this entire video. In fact, I'm ordering you to. In fact, you don't have my permission not to watch it. And the reason why I'm stating this is because this entire video is going to be made for you in order to be able to help you deconstruct what's happening to you so it is not so psychologically traumatizing, so it will lessen the psychological shock that you are experiencing on a daily basis, and to help you be able to make sense of what is happening to you, so you can then, so your worldview is not so warped. Because in organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions, their whole goal is to do many things to you. To victimize you, to traumatize you, to change your worldview concerning how can all this be happening to you, around you, concerning you. Okay? And so my goal is to deconstruct it for you. When you build a building, you construct it from the ground level up. When you construct anything, you construct it from the ground level up. I took architectural drafting for years. I know exactly what I'm talking about. In other words, hang on a second. In other words, when you see this pack of cigarettes here, you're seeing it from one view, okay, the front view, okay, because you're looking at the front of it, okay. Now, on the other side of it is the same thing, okay, same exact thing. It's just that you weren't able to see it because I had it turned over. But if you look at both sides, they're the same. In organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions, that's what they want you to do. They want you to see the same thing everywhere you go in reference to your visual attention and what you're hearing, and how it's all being portrayed around you for you to experience the same thing. Okay? On all sides, every side, well, at least these two sides, okay? My goal and my intent is to be able to deconstruct these factual realities in reference to how they do it, okay? So you can see that your worldview concerning what you knew before this expedition that started towards you. In other words, think about it this way. If you're say you will leave your apartment, and as you walk out the door, somebody else is walking out their apartment door at the same time, and they're touching their hand to their face or their mouth or their nose. Okay, and you notice it. You also notice that they seem to be leaving your apartment or coming back into their apartment. They seem to be leaving your apartment when you're leaving your apartment every day at the same time. And then when you come home, the same person or somebody else is coming home at the same time. And then this is repeatedly done every single day. Okay? That's because what they're doing is mimicking what you're doing. Yes. Then as they're leaving their apartment, which is right next door to yours, as you're leaving yours, they're putting their hands to their face, or coughing in a certain way, or jingling their keys, or maybe clicking their pen, or wearing a certain shirt or pant color, hat color, whatever, or that they're coughing in specific ways, or saying specific words or phrases like, oh my God, weird, crazy, or any other type of word that they have you sensitized to, including words that are meant to affect your self-esteem concerning what kind of person you are. Okay? Then after you lock your door, you start walking down the hallway, and this can be any place you go. It doesn't have to be your apartment. This could be a grocery store, a checkout lane, any business, any type of business, any public library, any bank, post office, restaurant, movie theater, university campus, college campus, any store, any place you go. If you have people getting around you and repeating certain words, phrases, including name calling, okay, that's done to affect what kind of your self-esteem in relation to what kind of a person you actually are, and how they're trying to label you as being something different than what you are, okay, like weird, crazy, or maybe even some other kind of word, like just any other kind of word that tries to affect your self-esteem concerning what kind of a person you actually are. Like, in other words, over time you'll discover that these individuals are nothing but in part thieves. Nothing but in part thieves. They'll try to label you as being a thief. Not only by calling you a thief around you, by getting other people around you to call you a thief, while they're doing other things that they know you have already been sensitized to, like putting their hands to their face like this, or going like this, or taking the hat off, taking their hat off and stroking their hair back, and then putting their hair back on, and then tapping the brim of it, tapping the top of their head. Okay. First they'll sensitize you to pointing, everywhere you go. Like when you turn your head one way. See, what they do is that when you're out in the public, okay, say like, how can I say it? Hold on a second, just bear with me. This is an education video, so trust me, stay with me. Alright, now say that this is this right here is a Ross grocery store. The entrance of it is right here. And you're walking to go inside of it. You're locking up your bike over here. Then once you lock it up, you walk to go into the entrance, which is right here. And this is the actual store. This is the entrance of the store, where the doors are. As you're locking up your bike, what they're going to do is the parking lot's over here. So what they're going to do is they're going to make sure that they position themselves to be over here, and over here. In front of you, all depending on where you're standing and where you turn. In other words, they want to make sure that they're over here, here, and here. So every time you turn your head or look up, you will see them engaging in the physical gestures. Or you will hear them engaging in the direct conversation method while they're also engaging in the physical gestures. Then once you lock your bike up and walk into the store, they're already standing there at the entrance or on the inside of it or in specific aisles. And that is usually achieved as a result of them knowing what your spending and buying habits are. Yes, they want to make sure that you see or hear them at all times. Now, how is this? You might think to yourself, but how are they doing it? And why would they be doing it? This video is about how they're doing it, and in part why they might be doing it. It all depends on who you are as a person. But I want to help you understand something right now. These individuals are involved in every single type of crime that you can think of. And I will get to those descriptions concerning those types of crime in a momento. Hang on. Now, again, this video is being made in order to be able to deconstruct what you're experiencing, so it's not undermining your psychology, because what they want to do is alter your perceptions about not only why is this happening or how could it be happening, okay? Because I am pretty sure that you're also probably more than likely hearing things, or you eventually will. And that is what is called as, just for a second, hang on. Stay with me, trust me, you'll be glad you did. Okay. You see this diagram right here? It's called voice-to-skull technology. Okay. Now, in order for you to be able to make sense of this, I'm going to give you a preliminary introduction for you to go to YouTube before researching voice to skull technology, because as you're seeing all these things that are going on you, and just you going into this route was just one illustration of what you're going to experience everywhere, including public transportation routes, walking routes, bike routes. Every place you go, you will experience this. They're putting the hands to the face and the words, and how you're being subject to words constantly, physical gestures constantly, and sounds. Okay, it's called sensitization methods, where they're sensitizing you to these sounds in order to anchor in your memory these things. Okay, so that way, once it's anchored in your memory through association, they can then get around you and repeat them everywhere they go, everywhere you go. Now, they can also use the voice to skull that's happening to you as you're experiencing all this around you. One of the devices they're using is called the neural phone. Okay, and hang on a second. Oh, they also will sensitize you to make you think that everything they're doing on their cell phone is about you, okay? Or that everything they're talking about on their cell phone is about you. And I'll get to that in a minute or in the next video. They'll also sensitize you to possibly laptops, okay? They'll also sensitize you to make you think that everybody's getting around you taking video pictures of you with their cell phone. They do that with me. They try to make me think that. One time, 3 people got in front of me on 3 separate days and literally took their cell phone like this. They opened it up and they took their cell phone, because we all know the camera's on the back of this part of it, and they literally just held it right up to me. They literally had the audacity to hold it right up to me, and then they actually did that on more than 3 occasions, at least probably 20 or 30. They literally walked up to me and did this to me, okay, like you're seeing it being done right now. They literally walked up to me and did this, and then they started to bring it closer to me, and then they brought it away from me, and then they started doing this, getting around me. Like if I'm on a bus and I'm sitting here, they'll come and sit next to me and go like this to make me think that if they're taking a video picture of me. They already got your video picture, trust me. If you're being targeted and harassed with these sensitization methods, they've already got your picture of you, because they got these people that they're using for each day got to know who you are to get around you to do it. So your picture's already been gotten. They're just trying to make you paranoid. And they will also use social deviant looking people to make you nervous that your picture's being taken by them. Yes. Now, and that's done to make you hyper vigilant and hyper alert and afraid. It's done to frighten you, to keep you in a non-stop, to keep your body physiologically reacting to it. It's done to make you hyper alert, to where you're out mentally and to where your body out constantly, because every time you see it, your mind and body reacts to it. So don't react to it. Don't react to it at all mentally. If you can't stop yourself from having a mental reaction to it in reference to what you're thinking about it, just say to yourself, what? Because when you say to yourself, what is stopping your neural response to it because of the nature of the word what? Yes, just trust me. Okay, so basically what they'll do is they'll position themselves around you, okay, as a result of tracking you. And tracking can be done through your cell phone. You can go to YouTube and type in cell phone hacking and gang stalking. Even, I had a person send me some information concerning how, since we all know, or you'll eventually come to understand, that some of these syndicated members who are managing and hosting this, at least the harassment, have government positions. And this includes inside of DMV, this includes inside of the courts, district attorney's office members, prosecutors, police officers, firefighters, yes, social services workers, even social security workers. And this is where you'll come to understand that these people have to have some federal connections. Because in order for them to be able to use a social security worker and security guard, they have to be able to notify somebody at the federal level. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. This is organized crime in the system at the federal, state, and local level. And the technological resources that are being expedited against you were developed from the military. They have been trickled down to state and local governments, crime groups, and corporations and the wealthy. Okay? Now, what we got to understand here, we always got to remember this. This is organized crime in the system, so do not trust police officers, because if an event becomes transpired against you, it's being done for a reason, like an assault, an accusation, a threat, an incident where you're being blamed for it. It's being done for a reason, so possibly the police can be called. So at least a police report can be made about you, possibly to ban you from a business, or both. maybe to arrest you, or maybe to try to put you in county mental health so you can be discredited. Okay? And trust me, this event is being staged so they can also stage the witnesses, so somebody in the environment will call the police. No matter who calls the police, one of them, okay, or an innocent bystander, because they're made to believe that this is happening because of you, because of the witnesses they stage around you are all pointing the finger at you. That's how it's designed. They're called street eaters and gang stalking. That call to the police, whether it's made by an innocent bystander, okay, who believes that you're the problem because everybody's pointing their finger at you, that call will be intercepted by a syndicated cop who already knows that a staged event is going on around you. So just stay calm. Try not to mention that you're being gang stalked. Just tell the truth in reference to that you feel you're being harassed, or that just try your best to not open up too much about what's happening to you, because these syndicated cops want you to talk about it so they can call you crazy. Trust me. Okay? Now, as far as like if you're walking down, as you're walking into the Rouse, and somebody's possibly driving by in a car, and you're hearing things possibly in your environment or possibly in your head, okay, that's saying they have no right to do this to him or her, which is you, okay, or how could you do this to him or her, which is you, and you're hearing this while you're seeing a person drive by in their car on their cell phone, that's made to make you think that you are able to hear what they're saying. Okay? Yes. And that is a direct result of the technology that is at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance, the 3 PDF links that are on the bottom of their homepage. Excuse me. It's also called the microwave hearing effect, which is the second PDF link. It's also, this technology is also can be found at surveillanceissues.com. And to get any person who's not a target that might be watching this video, to help them understand how all this can be achieved, go to YouTube and type in reference to hearing the voices, go to YouTube and type in John Hall Satellite Terrorism. Do it. And watch every single one of his videos, make notes, and then cross-reference what you hear from his statements to what you can find on the internet concerning the descriptions of what he describes, along with the additional information concerning the surveillanceissues.com and the 3 PDF links at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. You can also look up the silent sound spectrum, and for a preliminary introduction in reference to being able to see that the technology does exist in reference to the voice-to-skull technology, which was the diagram I just showed you a few minutes ago, go to YouTube and type in the audio spotlight. Do it. Yes. If you are being harassed concerning your thoughts, yes, concerning your thoughts either by physical people, okay, or by audible, by hearing things, that's the remote neural monitoring. Using the microwave hearing effect, the remote neural monitoring is monitoring your neural activity, and then they're using the microwave hearing effect to transmit harassing dialogue concerning it, and the neural phone can also be responsible for that. And if any physical people are getting around you and regurgitating your thoughts in reference to the theme of what you're thinking, that is because of the remote neural monitoring. The person that's monitoring the monitor is sending them information, yes, on their cell phones or tablets or laptops. Now, if you're getting around you once you're in the grocery store, and then if you go down an aisle and somebody is going down an aisle and you might be thinking a certain thing about something that they've done while you're thinking it, if they're putting their hands to their face or coughing or saying specific words as you're experiencing that thought process, how are they doing that? Well, they possibly could be communicating with them with voice to skull, giving them commands about when to harass you in these ways as a result of them knowing what you're thinking about. Because what they want to do is enhance, okay, the traumatic situation that you're experiencing internally. Okay, and this is being done while you're thinking a thought about what's happened to you. They want to make sure that you recognize that this thought that you're having is because of the gang stalking. So they want to pair and remind you. They want to remind you through things that they're doing that you already know are associated to it. In other words, if you're thinking a thought about something they've done to you, and then as you're thinking it, or possibly feeling an emotion concerning it, and then while that's happening, somebody approaches you and does this, or coughs in a certain way, or a combination of any of the things I've already described, that's because of many different methods. One is because they got a cell phone in their pocket that's vibrating. And they're told before they go into the store that when that cell phone vibrates, do a certain thing. Cough, sneeze in a certain way, say a certain word, or engage in a certain physical gesture. That's how it seems like it's being so synchronized. Yes. Now, with remote neural monitoring, they can literally see through your eyes and hear through your ears. So anything that a targeted individual that's being targeted with remote neural monitoring, hang on. Anything that a targeted individual of gang stalking that's being remotely neurally monitored, all of their subvocal speech, which means that all of the things that you are thinking with your internal dialogue are being heard in your audio cortex, even before you're totally consciously aware of it being processed. Because everything that you think when it comes to your internal language is processed up through your subconscious first before it reaches your preconscious and then your consciousness, before it becomes a completed internal thought that's got language attached to it. In other words, everything that you think, like if I shut my mouth right now and say to myself, I am going to go to Walmart, which I'm going to do right now, that thought came up through the subconscious, through the preconscious to the consciousness. Remote neural monitoring can monitor you at the subconscious level. That's where subvocal speech is. Subvocal speech. You're not aware of the subvocal speech yet until it reaches the preconscious and the consciousness. So if you're having a thought, I am going to go to Walmart, and then you hear through the microwave hearing effect, why is she going to Walmart, or why is he going to Walmart, before the thought's even brought up completely in the consciousness. Like, by the time it gets into, say if a target thinks to himself, I am going to go to Walmart, before that language and that thought is completed in their consciousness, they can already read it in the subconscious and then transmit harassing dialogue to you, okay, before it's even completed in your mind. Because the remote neural monitoring is running on trillions of flops per second. Yeah, so it's filtering out what you're processing in your subvocal speech, in your subconscious speech, okay? And then it's already got it figured out before it gets up to your preconscious and consciousness. So it's already got it read in subvocal time. It then figures it out what it is, what it is in reference to the theme of what the subconscious is processing. The computer will then connect words and sentences to harass you concerning the theme of what your subvocal speech is processing. Like if a target thinks to himself, I am going to go to Walmart, before it's realized in their conscious that they're having this thought, the computer already knows it, will streamline harassing dialogue concerning it and transmit it back to the target before the target has even completely finished that thought consciously. That's why it's so psychologically undermining for you. You can't figure out how is this being done. And if you don't believe me, you can go to YouTube and type in Remote Neural Monitoring NYC Chronicles. She's a targeted individual, an African American woman. She's a little bit heavy set. She talks about how she's being harassed about her thoughts before they're even completed. Do it. Go to YouTube and do it. And you will come to understand that the remote neural monitoring is running trillions of times faster than your brain is processing information. It then transmits harassing dialogue in reference to the theme of what you're processing back to you using the microwave hearing effect. Because their computer, that the artificial intelligence is running, runs on trillions of flops per second, and your brain only operates on either micro or milliseconds in reference to how fast it processes information that you're thinking. Okay? Just do it. This video is being made for you to slowly and listen to everything I state. Take notes. Okay? Just take notes. Do it. I'm trying to help you. Okay? I know exactly what I'm talking about. Take notes concerning every separate thing I state. Okay? And then research it, and then go back and be able to synthesize what I state to the research. And you'll be able to see what I'm telling you is the truth. Now, as far as them crafting the visual and audio harassment that you see and hear in any business or any place that you go, including your home, the way that they're able to craft, well, the home is a little bit, like as far as the physical harassment, it's mostly audible harassment you'll hear in your home because you're usually by yourself. But the physical harassment that you'll see out in the environment, along with the microwave harassment you'll hear, the physical harassment is synchronized and crafted for you to see and hear every time you turn your head, or if your head is just facing in a certain direction. In other words, right now I'm looking in the video camera, so I'm not turning my head. But if I was out, or another targeted individual was out, and he's standing in front of Ralph smoking a cigarette, his head is facing one way. But they have situated individuals to be in the way that you're looking, and to watch you, so when you turn your head, they have enough coming at certain times. Like if a targeted individual goes to a Ross grocery store, hang on a second. If he goes to a Ross grocery store and he's going there with his bike, they have already got this shit synchronized and filtered out in reference to how human beings operate. In other words, if you're going to a Ross grocery store and you're going there on your bike, they know that you're going to go and lock up that bike somewhere. Now, if they've followed you to Rouse on previous occasions and have seen that you've always locked up your bike or parked your car at a certain place, what they'll do is watch you and text message the people that they have gotten for the day to tell them when to be around you and when to start walking towards you in relation to what you're doing, when you're doing it, in reference to if I drive my bike up there, get off my bike and start locking it up, they realize it's only going to take a certain amount of time for me to lock that bike up and then look up once it's locked up. And then at that time, that's when they maneuver and situate how long it takes. These people have literally synchronized their craft down to where they have timed how long does it take to get out of a car if I park it at this location. How long does it take for me to walk to this area where this person locks up their bike so they can gauge when to do it. Yes, this is literally how crafted they do it, because you got to understand something here. Organized stalking and gang stalking is about psychological warfare. It's all about undermining your psychology concerning how can a target be hearing things about their own thoughts? How can every time they look up their head or turn their head, they see somebody gaslighting them with physical gestures or hearing them with words? Because they want you to see it and hear it every time you turn your head or look forward, or when you're processing something that has happened to you because of them. They want to make sure that that memory is anchored to their victimization concerning how when you're thinking that, the remote neural monitoring is seeing it. They will then send a text message to a phone that's vibrating in a person's pocket, and they're told that when you feel that phone vibrating, they're told to cough or say a word that you've been sensitized to as you're experiencing that memory. And they can even stimulate the memory for you to experience. Stimulation of memories and brain stimulation is clearly mentioned in the remote neural monitoring file. What fellow viewers who have never heard of gang stalking before have to understand something is that these expeditions, psychological warfare, have been crafted to behave in these ways. Literally, it is their whole complete intention and motivation. So they're not going to go and do something and be at a certain place at a certain time and sensitize you to these things if they don't want you to see them or hear them. So they had to be able to deduce, if this person's going here, where can we situate ourselves around this person for them to see and hear what you're hearing. So in other words, they have done their homework. They know how to get around people. They're told when to, how to, by cell phones, text messaging, cell phones vibrating, and some of them are also being communicated with through voice to skull themselves. In other words, the perpetrators, the syndicated ones, are literally given them directions by communicating with them through their voices, through their skulls. They're given commands into their audio cortex about when to be at a certain place, when to do a certain thing. Yes, I strongly suggest you research the audio spotlight. And then research John Hall satellite terrorism, synthesize the information together, and you will make sense. The best thing that you can do for yourself, viewers and fellow targeted individuals, is to take every statement that I have made, write it down in reference to the description, the theme, yes, and then research it to the places that I've told you to go to, like Freedom From